the governor's budget has come out. He released it several weeks ago, and it does call for a cut to higher education. The process now is that the budget is submitted to the General Assembly, and this year the Senate takes the lead in drafting a budget. And so they're in that process right now, and from then it goes to the House of Representatives, and then they have to negotiate between them if there are differences, which there usually are. And so what we're waiting on right now is to see if the Senate follows the governor's lead and decides that we need to go on and have budget cuts for higher education. But higher education is not the only agency in the state that would be cut, but we would be one of them. One of the things that we're waiting to see, though, is what happened on April 15th. That's tax day. And some think that if the coffers are fuller, then they may have anticipated that it might prompt the Senate to either wipe out the cut that the governor has proposed or at least reduce it somewhat. So I think there is a good likelihood we may have some cut. It won't be massive, but any cut will be tough given the fact that the university and all universities in the system were cut significantly between 2000 and 2011. Well, I have asked all of the vice chancellors and my chief of staff, who oversees some units on campus, and all of the deans to work to begin to think, how could we accommodate a cut without hurting enrollment? Because that's one of the things that the way our budget is set up in this state is that right now the only new money that we're getting comes from enrollment growth. So if we can grow the enrollment, we get more money from the state to support enrollment, and then we get the tuition and fees that they pay. South Carolina actually has a long history of being very supportive of higher education. More so, I think, this is a personal opinion, I haven't done a statistical analysis, but more so I think than most states in the United States. So it's to this state's credit. And the economy hit everybody. I mean, budget cuts happened not just in higher education, but across the board. And the cuts that we took were huge. And we lost $32 million at Western between 2008 and 2011. And they wiped out 95 positions at the university. Now, most of those were vacant positions. They didn't have people in them, but it was tough. And so to try to sort of compensate for this huge loss of funding and sustain the educational quality of the education that we offer students, we really had to increase tuition more than we would have wanted to do. The tuition increases that we've had in the last few years haven't even come close to making up for everything we've lost from the state. But we've really had to do it, and we feel very concerned about this because we're worried about pricing students out of an education, and we know that we have students who, some students are having to work already to help put themselves through, and if we raise tuition, that means it's just more money they have to find. Some of their parents, may have lost their jobs or may be underemployed and have their own circumstances which are really tight because of the economy. So we're working hard to figure out how to balance our commitment to access to education and at the same time ensure that the quality doesn't suffer. One of the big challenges that we have is that our faculty and staff have received almost no raise in 4 years. And between 2008 and 2012, they received basically a 1.2% increase, and that's just so. If we can't compensate the best faculty, then they're going to be picked off and hired away from us to go to other universities, and so it's really a hard struggle.